students has her very first restaurant performance coming up. It's always very exciting when you turn from a student to being a professional performer, but it can be quite nerve-wracking as well. And she was saying to me, Elisa, what do I do? How do I prepare? So I thought I'd put these tips together in a video so that anyone who's starting off dancing professionally can learn from these, and also make sure you add your tips below so that everybody can see them. Hi Shimmy Shakers, and welcome to today's video. If you're new to Dancer Diaries, please make sure you check it out. I have lots of videos on belly dancing techniques as well as discussions about being a professional dancer. And also, if you like this video, make sure, as always, you give it a thumbs up. So, dancing professionally at restaurants. I really love dancing at restaurants. It can be in quite an intimate space. You need to use a lot of improvisation, but it is really fun. So, number one about dancing at restaurants is, firstly, it's all about the audience. I see dancers often thinking, oh, I've got this choreography, I'm going to perform it, and they're so in the zone about themselves and the choreography that they're not engaging at all. If you are performing professionally, this is not going to cut it. You are hired there to entertain, and you need to entertain the audience and interact with the audience as much as possible. So number two is, secondly, getting the audience up to dance and being aware of your own personal space. I have seen dancers before who aren't very experienced, feeling very uncomfortable when audience members get too close to them when they're dancing. It's really important that you're aware of your own personal space boundaries. Everybody has different boundaries when they're dancing. Some dancers love to take people by the hand, they love to dance close with people, they don't mind being in a crowd, whereas other dancers, they much rather have a distance between them and their audience. So if you are somebody who prefers to have more distance between you and your audience, make sure you assert this. I have done another video on this, I will link it below, so please make sure you watch that as well. But make sure that you always feel comfortable when you're dancing. The audience doesn't necessarily know what your personal space levels are, so unless you tell them or show them, they're not going to be able to respect them. Number three is have fun. So, as I said, you're there to entertain, you really want to enjoy it. You don't want to be going in playing really sad or slow music because that's going to make everyone feel sad. You want to be having a really good time and getting the energy up. One of the most rewarding things I find about belly dancing professionally is you can go into a room, people can be eating their dinner, the vibe's very low, everyone's having a nice time, but it's just a nice time. And then you start dancing. And when you start dancing, they get really excited, they start clapping along, they start dancing as well. And by the end of it, everyone's smiling, laughing, and you have started the party. I think this is one of our roles as belly dancers as well, which is a really important role. We're there to bring people joy. So make sure that you enjoy it, you have joy, and you're sharing that joy with other people. At the same time, if you're nervous or stressed or really sad and not in a good mood that day, it's going to be very difficult for you to perform because your audience will read this. In the end, it's a performance. You have to put on your best show. Even if you're pretending to be in a really good mood, you should feel joy from the dance. If you're passionate about dancing, dancing will make you feel happy and your audience will read this as well. So number four is looking after your feet. I would not wear bare feet unless you are 100% sure that the floor is clean and that you're able to dance there without hurting yourself. I've danced at restaurants before thinking that the floor was clean and gotten glass in my feet. Even if it's the start of the night, you don't know what's been happening at the restaurant earlier that day, and even if it's the end of the night, people might have dropped glasses, there might be rubbish, there might be food on the floor, you don't want to be stepping on it. If you are going to wear shoes though, especially if you're wearing heels, make sure you can dance in these before your performance. Practice in your heels. Practice dancing as much as you can so that you feel just as comfortable in your heels as you would in bare feet. The next one is to 5, look the part. Now, You are there as a show, as I said. They want something spectacular. If you're going to turn up in clothes that aren't that interesting or not that sparkly and looking a bit dull, it's going to be very hard for you to convince everyone that they need to look at you and that you are something spectacular. If you look spectacular, you will feel spectacular as well. I find when I'm dancing, especially if I'm wearing something very sparkly, the children love it, especially little girls. They'll come up and say, "Oh, look at the princess, Mum, I want to dance like that." And that's beautiful because you can get the kids up to dance and the kids really, really enjoy it too. So if you look your best, you're going to feel your best, and that's also going to tie in with number 6, which is confidence. Please have confidence when you are dancing. I know when I first started performing professionally, I had put it off for a long time performing because I thought that I didn't know all the technique and I didn't know all the technique perfectly and I couldn't do it all perfectly. The thing with belly dancing is that you can't know all the technique perfectly because belly dancing has been around for thousands of years. There are thousands of techniques. You can't know them all and you can't do them all perfectly. I'm not saying technique isn't important. Technique is really, really vital. You are representing another culture's dance and you need to be able to do your technique really, really strongly. But at the same time, your audience isn't going to know all these different complicated moves. If you keep it very simple and just do the moves that you know and can do beautifully, your audience is going to love it. As you may have heard in my other videos, the move that I find gets people clapping and cheering the most is when you're doing your basic shimmy or you're doing your undulation or your camel. So these are quite basic moves, but the audience loves them. They really, really love them. So finally, good luck. I hope your performance goes really well, and I would love to hear from you. If you have a performance coming up and you're just starting out, please comment below. I would love to hear how it goes and send some photos or videos if you have any. And if you're a seasoned performer and you have any other tips, I would love to hear from you. Please write in the comments below what your extra tips are so that everyone can share them too. Finally, if you haven't already, please join our Shimmy Shakers Facebook group. I will link that in the description box. It's a group for us to all discuss the technique of belly dancing. I know there are a lot of Facebook groups that are out there about belly dancing, but they're more about the social or historical side of belly dancing, whereas our group Shimmy Shakers is all about belly dancing technique. So if you are a belly dancing technique geek, please make sure you join us. Feel free to post your comments, experiences, and questions. Thanks very much for watching. All the best for your performances and happy dancing.